Alia is asking if we're ready.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll tell her to make an announcement then. We are live.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Hello and good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening. Um, we promise that this is going to be a very wonderful session. So wherever you are joining us from this evening, we highly welcome you to this class. Um, make sure you sit back and enjoy the full potential and all the impact learnings that this class is bringing to us this evening. So, my name is Chima Oge, and this evening we are bringing to you the AI Builders Masterclass. So, this is a masterclass series, a 3 series of masterclasses that is going to be happening starting from today till the 2 coming weeks. And if you are joining us now, please reach out to your colleagues so that nobody misses this class, because this class is not the one that you want to miss. If you're somebody who is passionate about using AI to build solutions, then this is not the class for you to miss. So thank you for joining us. Like how we do, please drop your details on the chat. Where are you joining us from? Tell us your name, where you're joining us from, possibly your cohort. If you're a fellow, what cohort are you? A deep tech fellow? What deep tech cohort are you joining us from? Let's interact and let's connect. So, okay, I think the first name I have here is Ekene Emmanuel from FCT. Welcome, Emmanuel, and reach out to your colleagues to please join the class. We are live and we are kicking off very soon. All right, like I said, this is AI Builders Masterclass. So it's going to be a 3 series masterclass starting from today. And for today, we are going to be kickstarting with vibe coding. So it's an AI series masterclass, 3 series of masterclass with different topics covered each Saturday to help you build AI solutions, to help you, leverage AI to build impactful solutions. So for today's masterclass, we are going to be starting with vibe coding today. Next week, Saturday, being the 25th of August, we are going to have the second series of the masterclass, which is going to cover AI agents, making use of certain tools that you can use to build agents that can work for you, right? And then the last series of the masterclass is going to be the last Saturday, the first Saturday in August, which is going, please, this is 1st of August and not 25th of July. So we have today, we have 25th of July, and then we have 1st of August, which is going to be the last series of this masterclass. And that day we'll be treating AI automation. So please make sure you don't miss any class. After today, schedule your calendar for next Saturday and the upper Saturday so that you get the full benefit of the entire masterclass, right? So like I said, today You are going to be learning vibe coding, and today we'll be learning vibe coding we'll be talking about Google AI Studio, how to vibe code with anti-gravity. And it's not just vibe coding, you build your solution. How do you use GitHub to version your work and final deployment? So it's an end-to-end class from beginning all the way to the end. What is anti-gravity? How do you start by coding using anti-gravity? And how do you have a full deployed solution? So at the end of this class, you're able to build an end-to-end solution, build and deploy it live, right? And to take us through to this class, because I don't want to waste time in this introduction, I want us to go straight to the class so that we start making use of this opportunity and maximize every time we have to make sure we cover the curriculum, the impactful curriculum we have for you this evening. So welcome, welcome. I can see a lot of people joining. Please reach out to your colleagues, prompt your colleagues to join the class. Thank you for joining. Yeah, vibe coding with anti-gravity. Awesome. Okay. So to take us through this class this evening, we have an awesome AI engineer in our midst. His name is Samuel, and Samuel is an AI engineer and automation specialist dedicated to helping people work smarter through artificial intelligence. Um, through artificial intelligence. He specializes in generative AI, prompt engineering, workflow automation, and machine learning with a passion for turning emerging technologies into practical solutions that improve productivity and business outcomes. Of course, he has experience developing AI-powered solution, automating workflow, and applying machine learning to solve real-world challenges. And as an AI educator, sorry, he delivers engaging hands-on training that makes complex concepts accessible to both technical and non-technical audience. And that's the essence of this masterclass, because we want to make sure that everybody is carried along, right? Now, through live demonstrations, practical examples, and actionable techniques, Samuel equips learners to build AI-powered solutions, automate repetitive tasks, and confidently apply AI tools in their work, businesses, and everyday projects, right? Remember, this masterclass is brought to you by Deep Tech Radio Upskilling Program, which is delivered under the 3MTT initiative and executed by Data Science Nigeria. And we are bringing this masterclass series in partnership with an organization called SPR, right? So stay tuned, learn, ask question, please. If you have question, drop it on the chat. I have colleagues on the call who is going to be picking up your questions. So make sure you get everything you want to get in this class. If you have question, please drop it on the chat. We are going to pick up that question. So, and stay to the end, because at the end we'll be having some announcement, because this masterclass comes with a certification, but of course it has some caveat to that. For you to be certified at the end, you must at least attend 2 sessions to get certified. If you're already a deep tech fellow, you can also log into your Learn with DSM platform to also access the masterclass learning materials, right? And we have an attendance form for everybody that is joining this masterclass. You can scan, but at the end of the class, we are going to bring this back. And this attendance form will help us with your certification as well. So if you want to get certification after attending this masterclass, make sure you scan this and fill the attendance form. My colleagues are also going to drop the link to this attendance form on the chat. In case if you're unable to scan, please scroll through the chat, look for the attendance form and fill it. If you don't fill it, we will not be able to prepare any certificate for you. Thank you so much. And at this point, I'm going straight away to hand over to Samuel. Hi, Samuel. Can you hear me?
Fine. Fine.
Yes, yes, I can hear you. Over. I think you can share your screen at this point.
So, hello everyone. Welcome to today's masterclass series. So today is like the introduction. My name is Taiwo Sandra, and I'm an AI engineer, and I'm glad to be your anchor for this masterclass series. On and this masterclass series promises to be an exciting one, and it's going to be a practical session where we spend more time building a real.
Hi, Samuel. If you are speaking, we can't hear you.
Application together with AI.
Hello everyone. Samuel is having some small technical issue. He's going to join back very soon. Apologies, network. Please, we can't really predict how network is going to jump back very soon. Please stay tuned.
Sorry about that. I had a little network issue.
Okay, glad to have you back.
So today we'll be learning how to build functional applications through prompt engineering, which is what you otherwise call vibe coding in today's world. And the exciting part is that you don't need a software engineering background to follow along. If you can just clearly describe the problem and explain what you want, you're already developing one of the most important skills in modern software development. By the end of this masterclass, we also have seen how an idea becomes a product requirement document, how AI transforms that document into an application, how to test and improve it, and finally how to publish it so that others can access it online. So I encourage you to take notes of any questions you may have. We'll take them at the end of our demonstrations. I also encourage you to experiment. And don't worry, if something doesn't work the first time, iteration is part of the process, even for experienced developers. Now that we've seen where we are heading, let's define what we'll actually be doing today, vibe coding. So vibe coding is a way of building software by communicating with AI using natural language, which is human language, instead of manually writing every line of code yourself. So instead of asking yourself, how do I code this feature? You begin asking, how do I describe this feature clearly? The AI generates the code, but you remain responsible for the vision, the requirements, the testing, and deciding whether the result actually solves your problem. So essentially, vibe coding increases efficiency in the software development life cycle. And as such, think of AI as more like a very fast junior developer. It can build incredibly quickly, but it still relies on you for direction. So if AI is writing the software for us today, isn't it worth understanding the technology that makes this possible? Generative AI is the engine behind vibe coding. It is a type of artificial intelligence that creates new content instead of simply retrieving existing information. Now, depending on the model, that that content could be text, it could be images, it could be videos, it could also be music, it could be code, presentations, or even complete software applications. For instance, when we interact with ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini, we are not merely searching a database of prepared answers. Rather, what happens is that the model predicts what should come next based on everything it has learned during training. That's why the quality of the response often depends on the quality of the prompt you provide. Now, this takes us back to a concept we learned earlier in elementary school. That is the GIG, the garbage in, garbage out. Now, in this masterclass, we will be focusing on software as an AI output. However, there there are different kinds of content generative AI can create. So let's briefly look at the different kinds of content. Now, different generative AI models specialize in different types of content. Text models help us write emails, reports, marketing copy, and documentation. Image models generate artwork, logos, illustrations, and product mockups. Audio models can create speech or music. Video models generate animations and short videos. Example, YouTube ads. Now, finally, code generation models help us build websites, applications, and software, which is where today's focus lies. Everything you're about to do, everything you're about to do builds upon the same fundamental idea, which is giving AI clear instructions so it can generate useful results. So regardless of what AI generates, the conversation always follows the same pattern, which is that let's let's look at the basic building blocks now of that conversation or that pattern. So every interaction with generative AI has four essential components. First is the model, which is the AI system that processes your request. Next comes the prompt. Now, that is your instructions to the model. We have the model, which then produces a response. It could be text, it could be code, or another form of content. So finally, everything is basically measured using tokens. And tokens are simply pieces of text that AI or the AI system uses to produce both your prompts and its response. So you begin to hear things like context window and token units later. But for now, remember this simple flow. Now here's the simple flow. You can see it on your screen. The model receives the prompt, processes the prompt. The model goes ahead to produce a response using tokens. So look at your screen again and let's iterate. model receives a prompt, processes it, and produces a response using tokens. So of these four components, there's only one that we completely control, and that is the prompt. So let's learn how to write prompts that consistently produce better results. Rather than guessing what makes a good prompt, we use a simple framework which we developed called the ISO framework. You can see that on the screen. So ISO helps us organize our thoughts before asking AI to do something or anything. Follow me along. We begin with clear instructions. Then we go ahead to provide useful context. We show an example or expected output and finish with limitations or constraints. So throughout the next few slides, we are going to build one prompt step by step. And by the end, we'll see how each additional piece improves the final results. So let's begin with the most important part, the instruction. Every good prompt starts with a clear instruction. Now imagine asking a colleague to help you. If you simply say, help me out of the blue, they'll probably ask several follow-up questions. Now the same thing happens with AI. Instead of being vague, start with a direct action, such as create, write, generate, design, or build. Now, our running example begins with, as you can see on your screen, create a tax management web app. That's a good start. But AI still knows very little about the people who use it. So the next question now becomes, who is this application actually for? Now we improve the same prompts by adding context. So basically, context helps AI understand who the users are, what problems they are trying to solve, and why the application exists. If you notice, we haven't changed the instruction, we've just simply expanded it. So instead of creating a generic tax manager, we are creating one for an initial team managing employee onboarding. So that additional information over there gives the AI a much clearer picture of the problem and often leads to significantly better results. So now that we know what to build and who it's for, next we show AI what we expect the finished product to look like. So far, AI knows what to build and who it's for, but it still has so many design decisions to make on its own. Now, this is where examples or expected outputs become valuable. Instead of leaving the interface to chance, we tell the AI the kind of experience we want. We might specify a dashboard, a list view, modern cards, charts, or even a particular writing style. Now, notice we are still extending the same prompt that began with a rather simple instruction, rather than starting over. This is exactly how you will work throughout today's section. So the more clearly you describe the outcome, the less time you will spend making corrections later. You can see that on the screen too. We now have a clear vision of the application. Now the final step is telling AI what boundaries it must scale within. Finally, we define the constraints. Basically, what constraints helps to do is that it tells the AI what it should avoid or the standards it should follow. This would include color schemes, supported devices, programming languages, accessibility requirements, branding guidelines, response lengths, or performance expectations. So without constraints, AI has much more freedom, which sometimes produces unexpected results. So you should think of constraints as guardrails. They don't limit creativity, rather, they guide it in the right direction. So far, our prompt is now much more complete. If you look at what's on the screen, it is better off and more complete than where we started. Let's combine all four ISO components into one complete prompt and see how much stronger it becomes. Okay, let's read the complete prompt together. See what's on your screen. We notice that it naturally flows. Like we didn't try to write the perfect prompt just immediately. Rather, we improved it one piece at a time. This approach works for almost this approach works this approach works for almost every interaction with generative AI. So let's do the prompt. The complete prompt says create a tax management web app for a small HR team to track employee onboarding. Use a clean dashboard with tax status, due dates, and search. Keep it mobile responsive and use only blue and white colors. So you notice that it just feels naturally, like we didn't try to perfect the prompt to get it from the beginning. This approach is what we're going to be using. And as your projects become larger, the same principle still applies. The only difference is that your prompts becomes much more longer and more detailed. So later we'll use this same framework and also thinking pattern to create an entire product requirements document before generating our application. Now let's demo this project in Gemini Canvas. So I'll be heading over to Gemini and just hold on, it's loading. And as you can see, this is the chat area. This is where you select your models. And also because we are interested in using the canvas feature, so we select canvas. That's right. So we paste our complete prompts, create a task management web app for a small HR team to track employee onboarding. Use a clean dashboard with task status, details, and search. Keep it mobile responsive and use only blue and white colors. Okay, let's go. So what is happening is that firstly we are creating so we are creating a mock-up of our application. Let's have a feel of what the application will look like before actual development. So what is happening now is that the, you can see the thinking process of the agent. Okay, so it's normal for it to take time like this. So yeah, so you are not in error if it takes time, but it will eventually come up. So it's normal. So just give it a little time. This is exactly how it works. But it's actually quite interesting. Looking at I find it actually interesting looking at how the AI model thinks. And also if it still fails, we'll open another canvassing app like Claude or ChatGPT and actually review it. So one way or the other, you're going to see it. Awesome. So now I told you that we're actually creating a mock-up of what our app is going to be like. Now this is the preview. So as you can see, talent board, HR onboarding suite, dashboard, checklist. Let's check it out. Add new hire. So we adding new hire. Say Samuel test, department technology, job role title, AI engineer, start date, assigned body, John Doe, default tracking, just get it like this. So provision checklist, provision track for Samuel. So we can also check out the onboarding templates. Yeah, but let's go and check what we just created myself. So you can see new hire details. Samuel, you can see the body, AI technology, dates, onboarding, because we couldn't set this. So you can see that it's actually works. This is just basically like a feel of how our application is going to be working. So now we just develop a mockup, but not a real usable app. Before we jump into giving a proper usable software, there is one more important concept. So even a well-written prompt won't even a well-written prompt won't produce great results unless you understand how AI models actually work. By now, you've probably heard of the term prompt engineering. I know it sounds technical, but the idea is actually quite simple. Prompt engineering is the practice of designing prompts that consistently produce useful, accurate, and reliable outputs. It's less about finding perfect prompts and more about refining your instructions. Based on the responses you receive. Now, professional AI users really get everything right. Profes- Professional AI users really get everything right on the first attempt. They ask, they review, they improve, and they repeat. So think of it as having a conversation rather than issuing a command. So basically, there are several factors that influence how well a prompt performs. Come with me, let's just take a look at most important ones. Basically, not every AI model has the same capabilities. Some models are better at coding, others are better at reasoning, writing, research, or image generation. Choosing the right model is part of prompt engineering. You also encounter token limits. So remember that tokens are simply Remember that tokens are simply pieces of text. Every prompt and every response contains tokens. And as such, your input tokens, which is also otherwise known as your prompt, plus your output tokens, also known as your response, is what gives you the context length. In other words, what we call conversation length. Now, this leads us to another important concept known as context window. What's the context window? The context window is what determines how much information the model can remember during the conversation. So larger context windows allow AI to work with larger documents, longer conversations, and more complex projects. Finally, there are different prompting methods. Sometimes one large prompt works best. Other times, breaking work into smaller conversations produces better results. We are going to be comparing these approaches later when we discuss front loading and front chaining. So rather than spending too much time on theory, let's apply everything we've learned so far to create the blueprint for our application. Everything we've done so far has been preparing for this particular moment. So instead of asking AI to immediately build an application, we first create what we call a product requirement document or a PRD. So a PRD acts as the blueprint for the entire project, basically more like the foundation and the skeleton. It explains what we are building, who is for, the problem it solves, the key features, and how users will interact with the system. Think of it like an architect's building plan. And as such, construction becomes much easier when the plan is complete. If you look at your screen, you see that our demo project, which is also our example for today, is an event registration system for an event center. This is a project that's simple enough to understand, but also realistic enough to demonstrate the complete workflow. So we will ask the AI to generate a structured priority. And in the next session, we'll use that document to build our application with anti-gravity. But don't worry, I will also tell you more about anti-gravity in later sections. So now we are at the expert limited prompt repo. Now we are the expert limited prompt repo, and this is a repository that hosts various kinds of templates. And as you can see, there are now the prompt templates that actually matters to us for this particular section is the app builder. Now we can see that this is what we call a system prompt. So what's a system prompt? A system prompt is a set of instructions given to an AI before the user starts interacting with it. It tells the AI how it should behave, what role it should play, and what rules it should follow. So if you look at this system prompt over here, you basically will see that. And this system prompt also is a host to 10 important questions that actually help in the development of our application. So our next thing to be done is to copy the raw file. That is copying the system prompt, which has been done. Then I will be heading over to Google AI Studio. Okay, let me set it to the right side. Awesome. So now this is what we call Google AI Studio. And what is Google AI Studio? So basically, Google AI Studio is an AI laboratory. And by that I mean that basically, if you want to build like like an AI application, Google AI Studio is also otherwise called a playground. It houses every single thing that you will need to build your AI application. Now, if you look at the right panel, there are basically some settings that need to be tuned in. Now, check where I'm at, where my cursor is, you will see the system's instructions. And remember, we actually did copy the system prompts from the expert repository. Now we get there. So we're just going to paste it in here and we'll call the title app, app launch templates. App launch templates. Save. It saves automatically. Now, if you check above it, this is the model selection area. And this actually comes in handy. Where exactly? So let's say you are trying to build an application that like involves you using agents. You actually have to select the agent models. How about if you have to do it audio? You actually have to select the audio models like Gemini 3.5 Lite Translate to View, Gemini 3.1 Flash Teachers. If you want to do, let's say, video applications, you can use View. View is much more prominent so far. You can also use Gemini Omni Flash. If you want to make images, I know most people have heard of Nano Banana. Nano Banana is actually one of the best Google has done, one of the leading the industry. So you can actually do that. And also, but for this our particular masterclass, this section, right? What we are going to be using for this section is the Gemini 3.1 flashlight. So the why is that? That is because the model capability. Now there's something we call model capability. That means what the model can do, right? Gemini 3.1 flashlight is actually multimodal in nature. Now, what I mean by multimodal in nature, if you check, you see that you can see text, image, and video. That means that Gemini 3.1 flashlight actually supports more than one mode. It supports text, image, and video. So that is it for our model selection. Now, if you come, I want to show you another concept here. If you hover over here, you see what is called, you see the tokens, the token area, which is here. And you see what it says like input token is 1,000. Sorry for token transmission. So now this is the chat area. We're going to start interacting with anti-gravity. Because what's really new. So now let's go on. Also, yeah, so the tokens, like I said earlier, let me just iterate a little bit. So if you check here, you can see that the token usage, also you can see input token is 1,294, output token is 0. Now, total tokens, same 1,394. So basically, think of tokens as small pieces of text that AI reads and writes. They are not exactly words. They can either be a whole word, part of a long word, or a quotation mark, or even a number. So what happens is that different AI models have their different tokenization systems or processes. Let's go to our chat area. And you must also know what you want to do in mind, what you want to as back of your mind, or you also have to know what you want to achieve. So I would say I want to I want to build the event registration system. Registration and event center. And also I told you that this system from Dubai, it houses 10 important questions that actually aid in the development of the PROD. But because of this class, I'm going to be answering those questions in twos. I will be answering your questions in twos. So control and enter, that is how you send in Google AI Studio. Now the model is thinking, now here's the response. That sounds like a good project. And event registration system is the practical to do. I'm ready to follow your lead. Let's start with the first two questions. Now, these are the first questions. Question number one: what is your app idea in one or two simple sentences? So now I have to think, what's my app idea? Actually, initially, we said we want to build an event registration system, right? For an event center. So when we say event registration system, what comes let me think. I think a system where people can let's make it basic. A system where people can put a time slot. So like when our events, that kind of stuff. So let me just use that. A system where can book a time slot. Our events. Now, question two says, what problem should this app solve? Or what should we help it to do? So now the app solve. So since so this, I think this particular grammatic construction makes more sense than the first one. So now question number two, the answer. What problem should this app solve? Or what should it help people do? Now I have to think, what problem? If I look at this, says, I say, yeah, I want to build a system where people can book a time slot, choose our question down. What problem am I solving like this? I would like to say, wow. Okay. I don't want people just so I said I don't want people bugging me every single time. So I have to put it like this. I'll say what failure should you solve? So a lot of people read a lot and see.
Okay, hello everyone. Sorry for the break. Samuel is still trying to reconnect back to the session, so we'll just give him a little time to reconnect. So while we wait for him, kindly drop your questions and we'll pick them up so that once he's done with the class, we can ask him to answer them. Also, while we wait for him to join, just a reminder about what was earlier said by the program coordinator that this series is going to span for 3 weeks, today being the first Saturday. And then next week, Saturday, which is 25th of July, will be our second session to be on AI agents. And then the third week is going to be on AI automation. We're going to drop the attendance form before the end of the class. So kindly fill it so you can get your certificate of completion. And to get a certificate of completion, you have to have attended 2 sessions. Samuel, if you can hear me, are you ready to continue? Okay,
Thank you very
why?
much. So now what's problem? Can you hear me right?
Yes, I can hear you. You can go ahead.
Thank you very much. So what problem should this app solve to avoid clashing events in a particular day? So the model is thinking that's the perfect clear start. So the next question 3 and question 4. Who will use this app? Please describe the main users as simply as you can. So question 2, who will use this app? Event planners. Event planners. And also the admin. Will have a separate. I want the admin to have a separate page, but I do not need any login details so that we know which time without login details. Tired. Question 4. What type of app do you want? Web app, mobile app, both or sure or not sure? We need a web app because of we don't want to pass through the complexities of the integration that requires to build a mobile app like at this point in time. That's it. the modern seems to understand what we're talking about. Question 5 and question 6. What are the main things the app does to use these most important features? For example, being available, so let's take time. So these are the features. Yes, viewing available dates. Yes. I understand this. So I'll just copy this and paste it here. Question 6. Are there any extra features you want, even if they are not in the first version? I don't want anything with email confirmations or payments. So yes, there are. I want the other ones. What extra feature do I want? Extra feature. Okay, yes, I remember. So I want something like I want the system to avoid avoid is not the word. The word is blocked. The block of the block of this times block of this or times plus that already put that already. Now I just don't want anybody to just so one other thing I want, I also say I want the admin to be able to and I also want the option to approve or cancel booking because I want the admin to approve or cancel booking. So that means your booking will not be approved without the admin approving your booking. I also want the option to approve or cancel the booking. Model is thinking. Question 7 and question 8. How should the app look and for example, simple and professional, colorful and energetic? So question 7. I'm a very simple person, so I will just say a calm and professional group management. Question 8. Do you have any color ideas, styles, or layouts ideas for the app? Yeah, I like apps that have I prefer simple. I like apps that have just simple layouts, very simple layouts that shows that shows events as stats. What is so for color? I love blue. So I love I love the mix. I love the mix of I love cyan blue, and navy blue. Okay, question 9 and question 10. Question 9, should it work well on small screens or is it made for computers? So there's something we call
Hello Samuel, if you're speaking, we can't hear you. Samuel, I don't know if you can hear me. Okay, so while we wait for our tutor to reconnect, I will continue the announcement I was making earlier on. So this a reminder that this masterclass series is not just for deep tech ready fellows. It's also open to everyone. So kindly reach out to your friends and your colleagues to join the master class series. Remember, you have a certificate of completion once you attend the minimum of 2 sessions. So, like we have said before, kindly drop your questions. If you have questions, we'll be picking it up and will be asked, and your questions will be answered once it's time. So, I think I'll just answer a few of your questions if there's any before your tutor joins rejoins the session. Okay, I can see some of you talking about the connection. We're sorry about that. We apologize. And he's working on it to get a stable connection. No, this session is not recorded. It's on YouTube. So this means that you can come back at any time to rewatch the session. So there's no recording. It's on YouTube already. So you can come back at any time to reconnect. So our tutor is back. Samuel, please confirm you can hear me.
Sure.
Okay, go ahead.
So the answer to question 10, we should avoid handling online payments and avoid sending to
Samuel, if you're speaking, we can't hear you.
No, I wasn't speaking.
Okay.
I was waiting for it to generate. So now, as you can see, we have our blueprints, which is also known as our priority. So now, let's move into a working application. Why we choose Playground, token length, and system instruction, and also the model capabilities. But basically, you can use any other generative platform to do this. Our anti-gravity. Well, it's also important for you to note that building anti we need a builder, and anti-gravity is that meant platform that takes natural language instruction, which is what we call our human language, normal human language, or documents like our PRT, and generates simple, complete software projects. So rather than manually creating pages, databases, and interfaces, we are going to describe what we want and allow our to generate the project. Then we spend our time reviewing, testing, and improving the results. So you notice that the quality of what anti-gravity produces depends heavily on the PROT area. That's planning before building. Okay, so let's download our application. So when you head over to Anti-gravity 2.0, anti-gravity CLI command line interface, anti-gravity ID, anti-gravity SDK. Now, basically, all these are used by developers, but for the sake of this, what what we're using 2.0, of which is actually your operating system. Is it either Mac, Windows, or Linux? Now, once your application is downloaded, so once your application is downloaded, um, you will notice the anti-gravity and as you can see, over here is our prompt window. Yourself on YouTube. Okay. To download. Go to antigravity.com. The antigravity. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Samuel, please confirm you heard me. Hello, Samuel.
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay. Okay. Download for Windows. Now that will take you to the download arena. Now there are different versions of antivirus because Google actually splits them. So we have antivirus 2.0, CLI, IT, and SQL. All these are for developers. But this 2.0 is the one that actually concerns us for this class. So different versions of 2.0. We have the one for Mac system. Now, let's say you have installed your or, or your local machine or your PC, whatever you call it. You will met with this arena. So basically, this side panel is the sidebar. It contains useful cards or information such as new conversation issue, schedule tags, and also previous projects. Then this is the prompt window. The prompt window contains a chat text box, contains the model selection panel. So you can see the models, that general model supported by Google. You have the Cloud Sonnet and supported by Anthropic and also GPT model. Now, one thing we do now is that we are going to be now if you check this is on local, that is on your local, let me see if I can see one. That is local machine, your local environment. If you see this, that's the settings. So the next thing we have to walk through now, and I also forgot to tell you, like you are also going to log in with Google accounts or email address, anyone. So we are going to create what our browser I'm working through. So let's do a new project, add folder. Now, so what I do is that I'm going to create a folder and call it app. I'll call it app project masterclass. App project class. Select folder. So you can see we just created a folder. Now the next thing is that we're going to set up our authorizations and also permissions. So how do we do that? So you select the folder, and if you hover over the folder, you will see that settings icon. Now, if you come to this place, there are different settings or different permissions. Let me walk through them. Agent settings, security test. So it says choose a predefined security test for the agent. This controls standard auto execution policy and file. So what you do is global settings working on this project, force requires manual review, full machine, double mode. That means that you have to be the person like saying like imputing every single thing you want. So what we have to select here is default because default actually spells out human in the loop. Now agent behavior, artifact review policy, specify agents behavior when asking for review on artifacts which are documents. So the default here is use global. But since we want to be human in the loop, We want to be reviewing every single thing. We're going to select always ask. And that's all for authentication and the access setup and permissions. So please avoid doing projects. You want to do a project. To create a directory for the directory means a file in our working folder. For and now that file has to be the head back. If you head back to Google AI Studio, I'm going to copy it. Now, if you come to this, I want to copy our QR text and also copy as background. But I'll be selecting copy as background because of what I call hierarchy. Now, what do I mean by hierarchy? Now, hierarchy, as if you look at this document over here, you see that this is a title, this maybe heading one more heading two, and this like normal word or normal case. So yeah, that is hierarchy. And AI models also work with hierarchy and understand hierarchy. So the next thing I'm actually going to do is that this PROD that I created uh, eventually contains eventually contains probably some words that are not some words that are not maybe needed. So what I'll do is I will actually paste the PROD here and let's check that ourselves. So if you check, you will see how does this document look. That is, we don't need that. Is delete. So go up to this side, also delete. Then select save as. Now, saving as, we have to make sure that we select the project Masterclass. I'm going to save it as PROD. PROD, the file extension. So we have to set this to all files and save this and also go back to our antivirus to continue at the local. Now, this is the chat area. I'm going to use Gemini 3.5 flash loop. Just leave it like this. This is the chat area. So I will say referencing yeah, I just changed it to 2.7. So referencing now I want to reference the PROT that we actually saved in our working folder. And to do that in Antivirus, we use the @ symbol, referencing the @ You can see it. PROT. You can see the PROT, so I select it. So I want to do the event management app with event management app. It's a very simple process. So the agent is working. So now if you notice, we have planned the application, documented the requirements, and we have also formalized ourselves with antibiotics. So now we are actually turning our idea into a working document or a working application. So you notice that I will not be describing every feature again. Why? Why is that? Because PLT already contains the context, the requirements, the users, and expected functionality. This is one of the biggest advantages of spending time on planning. So now this is our implementation plan. We have to review the implementation plan. So it says event this system. That is what does it. Provide a basic description of the program. Sharing the application. This will be a personal web application. So I propose using that. So I propose using the browser's data storage to store all these allows for a fully functional like without need to set up and use the database immediately. The admin dashboard will be accessible via a specific class, which the admin to act as the hidden link, which one the cloud. Okay. So if you have to use the faster, open questions, no one question at the moment. So you have to like review the implementation plan. So you have to have question, no which you have this another one to participate on this session. This local components essential to education offer long-term starship discussion, progress of education plan, how education one, and plan to placement of the. But yeah, this is awesome. So we should we should okay, so for questions, sorry, for questions so far, why the order is generating? Yes. Now this you can see that this is one of the functions created. Another usefulness of this is that can also can allow you to be able to go and we can go and research what the invite is. Now you invite is what connects the backend to the front end. Understand? So it allows you to do that. So for the questions, if can you build on if I can build on Google? Sure, yeah, you can build on Google AI Studio for free. All that is required is just sign up with your Google account. All thanks to Google. Yeah, you receive the GitHub repository. Get the link. Allow this time. So you can see, okay, so I see a question that says created an app using GitHub and deployed it on Streamlit. However, after about one or two attempts, it shows something like quota exceeded. Yeah, that is quota exceeded, that is normal. It has to come from your API key. So you need to change your API key. Change this free version, what you advise. Yeah, change your API key. It's actually going to work. Sure. You can get the app without need to practice on. That's totally fine. Okay, now let's check out the task. So the agent is working. While it's working, it will be ticking on the task. So let's it will tick on the task one by itself. So let's talk about what an agent is. Right? Basically, you see what is happening, and you should notice that Okay, so when the agent actually completes a task to tick it off, when it goes all right to tick it off, when it goes all right to tick it off. And now I know that everybody has been wearing the buzzword, the AI buzzword, agent. So what's an agent? An agent is an AI system that capable of one, perceiving his environment, two, as a result of that perception, sorry, not just perceiving the environment, perceiving his physical environment, and as a result of perceiving his physical environment, it is now able to carry out autonomous tasks. As you can see, I'm not telling the agents to tick off this task. That is autonomous. Now, perceiving his physical environment, that is this ID where we are working in. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So I have a question that I want to pay attention to now. So why do we use anti-gravity? You see the major tool for vibration. No. Anti-gravity is not the major tool for vibration. You can use anti-gravity, you can use flood, you can use can also use OpenAI like ChatGPT Co-op or Codex. You can use Kimi web browser, you can use Kimi, you can use open code. There are tons of tools that can be used for vibe coding. But for this section, we choose anti-gravity also due to its simplicity. So almost all our tasks are being ticked off. Most all our tasks are being ticked off. Just allow. I hope I answered the question. Just have one more task to do. One more task to do. Okay. So here is the workflow. It's created a workflow. I've successfully built. So it has created a workflow for us. So I don't want to start the server myself. Since this is a live coding class, I will tell it start server. Yes, allow. Okay, the server is running. Yeah. So I will also ask it. Okay, I was going to ask for the URL, but here it is. So now I just copied this localhost URL. Let's go over to our Chrome, open a tab, paste it, and let's test the app. So this is what our app looks like. So, so this first version, this is the first version of our app. And you can see that so far we have actually told Antigravity what to do. Saw how I also had to get it to start the server instead of like me doing it by myself. So now let's test the app. You can see that we have Monday, July 20th, available. Monday, July 20th, available. 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. That is a time slot. Monday, July 20th, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. That is also a time slot. Tuesday and so. So let's book a time. So event name like Clothing Masterclass. Masterclass. Organizer name. Bible sermon. Test. Submit request. Now you must know that if you remember when we are writing our PLT, we said that we want that it should not show books on no time slot should show books until the admin has approved the request. So let's go to our admin dashboard. You can see it. Admin dashboard, manage incoming requests and overview center schedule. Pending requests. You can still see all available slots. Is pending requests. We can either approve or cancel. Now we'll do two things. We'll test approve and test cancel. So let's go ahead. Approve. So let's go back to our planner view. Can you see that it now shows automatically slots unavailable? Approved. Now let's book a slot for this again. Variable somewhere test. Variable somewhere test. Organizers name. Variable somewhere test. Submit request. Now it's showing pending, right? And this should available. Now this is where we booked. Let's go to the admin dashboard and cancel request. Let's just see what happens. Cancel request. So let's go back. You can see that because we cancel the request, it's still showing available. But if we have accept or approve the request just like this, you will notice that it will have shown approved over here. So if you look very well, you may have noticed that we began with a detailed priority before we began making smaller improvements. That was not just accidental, it was a deliberate effort. So let's pause now and reflect on what just happened. Before generating our application, we invested time in creating a comprehensive PR routine. That's called front loading. So we gave the AI a complete blueprint before asking it to build. And once the application was generated, we didn't rewrite the PR. Instead, if you notice what we do, we improve the software through smaller, focused blocks. Now, in vibe coding, some people prefer one approach above the other. But the truth is that no approach or neither approach is universally superior or better. Some people prefer to brainstorm with the AI and keep testing. Others prefer to give it all the necessary details at the beginning. So for someone like me, I use both approaches. Now, the catch here is the context. Which means that as the context length increases, generative models are prone to hallucination. They could miss important context which was given at the very beginning. So we want to the development process and just make few changes here and there. So for larger or business critical projects, front loading helps the AI maintain consistency and reduces misunderstandings. For enhancements, experimentation, and continuous improvements, prompt training is actually faster and more flexible. So in practice, professional AI builders often combine both approaches, starting with a strong foundation and then refining to conversation. So now, since we are satisfied with the application that we built, which is this application, the next step is actually to preserve our work using version control. So our application is working, but right now it's only available inside our development environment. The next step is to save the project in GitHub. So basically, think of GitHub as the permanent home for your application's source code. It tracks changes, it allows collaboration, and connects seamlessly with deployment platforms like Vessel. So today we are going to be using the web interface, so there is no need to install Git or use the command line. We'll create a repository, publish the generated project, and confirm that everything has been uploaded successfully. So if you've never written code manually before, understanding this workflow is valuable because nearly every modern software project uses version control. So let's head over to our GitHub repository. And as you can see, this is the GitHub homepage. Now I will be actually be creating a new repository. So it's loading. It's loading. Just hang on a minute. Yeah, you can also for those of you that do not have a GitHub account, right? You can create a GitHub account with your email address. Just go over to github.com, shows you sign in, sign up, then select sign up and follow the instructions. Very easy. I want to change. Hold on, let me change my appearance to light so I can see my screen. Hold on, I want to change my appearance to light. So I believe that everyone will need to see this better now. So the repository name, what repository are we going to use? Let me think, use a app project masterclass. So now configuration, choose visibility. We choose limit. We can either be public or private, but select public so that you can deploy it and also others can see it. So we're going to be adding a readme. So leave the no HTML out because we didn't use any sensitive credentials like API keys. So create a repository. As you can see, we are now into the repository. And this is what we just created, app project masterclass. one of the first things we're going to do now is we're going to actually edit our review. But this is fine. So now what we're going to be doing now is that we'll head back to anti-gravity and say, now we have to stop the server. Stop server. We'll say create a readme for these projects. So we want AI, which is anti-gravity, to actually create a readme for the project so we can just easily copy it and paste it itself. Now, what's a readme? So a readme is a markdown, not a text, a markdown. What does it enable you to do? It enables you to yeah, now this is the markdown. It enables you. So what a readme does is that if a stranger visits your GitHub repository, instead of going to read your code line by line, a readme just gives the visitor to your repository a high-level overview of what your repository is about without going to read the code line by line. So we can make changes. And so now that brings us, what is a commit? So a commit is like saving a checkpoint of your work. So every time you make a meaningful change to your code or on your GitHub, you create a commit. So this default commit message that it says enhance readme project details as registration. Yeah, that's better. So commit changes, just things like that. Now our GitHub, our readme is actually set. So the next thing we have to do now is to actually push our generated application to GitHub. Now let's check the file structure first of all. So I know you can see my screen. So this is the file structure. Now, in order to aid this class, right, I'm going to be using anti-gravity. Since it's a bipolar class, I'll use anti-gravity to actually push this code to GitHub. Now, flow with me. I'll take a screenshot of the folder. Well, anti-gravity actually has everything. So now this is what I'll do. I'll say I want to push this application to now this is just this to aid you. I want to push this application to GitHub. Below is my GitHub repo URL. Don't push the readme because I have already created a readme file on GitHub. Don't also push the clarity file. It's not important. It's not important. So now what I'll do now is I'll head over to GitHub. Now I head over to GitHub and the app project masterclass. You can see this is the link that we created. You can see it. I went over to the app masterclass. Now I will copy the URL and I will go to Antigravity. I'll say GitHub URL. I'll say remember I will test I will remember I will deploy the project. The project. So push important. So now just in case there are different ways to actually do this. There are different ways to pushify to GitHub. I can decide to use I can decide to use the GitHub I can decide to use GitHub and drop using the GUI on GitHub. But things that it's not going to start writing command line scripts without using Bash or my CLI, and that's not for this class. So since this class is by coding, I'm now thinking, why not we just use anti-gravity and push this code? So follow me. Allow checking this status. Yes, allow this time. So now so the agent is actually working. So now you can see it says the application has been successfully pushed to your GitHub repository. As requested, I make sure to exclude both the README and PRT from the commit so they won't override the existing. The important files are these are now up there and ready for deployment. You can view the code. Now let's go ahead. Now this is our GitHub. Let's refresh. Awesome. So you can see that every single thing your when you actually start working with when you actually start this process, let's start this process over here. When you actually start there, you see that it will ask you for several permissions. Now, one thing that you need to do is that you need to grant anti-gravity permissions to access the particular repository. Just follow the instructions. And also, if you don't also understand anything, that always tell it to explain to you and to also stipulate it down for you. So now with our project safely stored, we are ready for the final steps, which is making it available to the world. Now, the final technical step is deployment. So instead of running the application only on our computer, we are going to publish it so that anyone with a web browser can access it. And Vercel makes this process markedly simple. So we're going to report our GitHub repository, allow person to build the application, and within a few minutes, receive a public web address. Now we open the live application, register a sample and just do everything that needs to be done. So let's, without too much talk, let's talk about to Vercel.com. Yeah, Vercel.com. Now, when you go to Vercel, Vercel also requires you to create an account. You can log in with your GitHub account. Though you can log in with your Google, but it's much more advisable to log in with your GitHub account. Now you come over to admin. You also add your project. I believe you can see my screen. Now, when you come to admin, to select project. Now, notice, well, you can already see from our GitHub repository that it's already showing our app project masterclass. So you select import. Now, just go to deploy. Now, deployment is a process. Deployment started 6 seconds ago. Now, you just deployed a new project to start. Now, the project has been deployed. You can also see the preview. Now, let's continue to dashboard. Now, this is the URL. Click it to open up. Now, this is our deployed project. Let's test it in a moment. Now, with this link, anybody can put a code. Anybody can access it. Anybody. Anybody can access it. So now let's test it now. Book the slots. Now, event name, vibe coding, masterclass, organizers, terrible sound test, submit request. Now, submitted request, pending approval. Now go to admin dashboard. It still shows pending. I can either approve or can either cancel. So what do I do? Approve. Now go back to planner view. You can see slot unavailable instantly. Now let's select Wednesday to the second one. We're going to cancel. What again? Vibe coding masterclass. Select terrible sound test. Submit request. Now go over to admin dashboard. What we do? We cancel. Now let's go and check if Wednesday is either open or Wednesday is closed. As you can see, Wednesday is still open. So now let's look back at everything we've accomplished today. Like I said earlier, before we look back, with this URL now, anybody can access this application from any part of the world. So congratulations, you follow through and just build your first application by just simply by coding. According to James, he said on your vibes. So today we've followed the complete vibe coding workflow from start to finish. We began with an idea, learned how to write effective prompts using the IC framework. We generated the product requirements document and used that document to build a working web application. We then tested the application, refined it through conversation with AI. Like you said, everything also how we pushed to GitHub, how we started the server, and every single process. Now, the biggest lesson isn't that AI writes code if you follow this class. That is not the biggest lesson. Rather, it is your ability to describe problems. So how we describe that you shouldn't do orthography should not push the readme file and also the PLD file to GitHub. Yeah, but you communicate clearly and you iterate thoughtfully is actually becoming one of the most valuable skills in software creation. Whether you're an entrepreneur, you're an educator, you're a consultant, you are a healthcare professional, or you're a business leader, these skills can actually help you turn ideas into working digital solutions faster than ever before. So now I invite each and every one of us to reflect on what surprised you the most. Yeah. So it's time for our Q&A session, and that will be the end of the tissue sections.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Samuel, for the wonderful session and the time taken to explain in details all that we needed to know about vibe coding. So I don't know if you can hear me. Confirm that you can hear me.
And that's will be the end of. Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, so we have some questions from the chat. So I'll be reading them to you so you can take them one at a time.
Okay.
All right. So the first question is, can ICL be downloaded from Play Store? And then somebody else wants to know if GenAI is the AKP or ICL. So two questions at a time.
Okay. Okay, so basically, ICL is the framework that we came up with, right, on writing effective prompts. The I stands for instruction, the C stands for context, the E stands for examples or outputs, C stands for constraints or limitations. They are just guardrails to just guide you in on how to write very good prompts. So everything on it. What made us do this very well, or the guys that guided us, was the ICL framework. It's a framework, right? It's not something you can do. Yeah, it's not something you can do. So please, what was the first question?
They wanted to know if it can be, they wanted to know if GenAI is the AKP. Yes, is GenAI the AKP or ICL?
If generative AI
Yes.
is the APK,
Okay, maybe I want to say APK, yeah, but I typed AKP, yes, or ICL.
okay, generative AI is a type of like artificial intelligence, right? So um yeah, start with AI, and also we also have, and also like I said before, the ICL, there are those frameworks that guide, just like the way you guide your 3-year-old brother or sister driving, cycling down the bicycle. Yeah, so that is it. So generative AI is not an APK file, just a type of artificial intelligence. And ICL is a framework that guides you on how to write good and effective prompts.
Okay. Thank you very much. So some of them are requesting link to the GitHub repository that you used. And then they also want to know if Google AI Studio is free and if they can build on it for free. And they also want the link to that as well. So
Okay, sure.
link to the GitHub
Okay.
repository. Then they want to know if Google AI Studio is free and if they can build on it for free. And they also want
Sure,
the link.
Google AI Studio, if you can see my screen, Google AI Studio is very, very much free and you can build on it for free. All it just requires you to do is just go to Google AI Studio, and all it just requires you to do is just to come in and just open the website. You can see where I go to. Go to Google, search Google AI Studio. Yeah, select it. If you are not signed in, to eventually ask you to probably sign up or sign up, or sign up with your Google account. That's if you have used before, or sign up or email address, whichever is convenient for you. And as you can see, it is completely 100% free. Very, very free. And also for the prompt template, I'm sending the prompt template in with chat arena now.
Okay.
So you can be going on with the next questions while I'm sending the problem. So you can ask.
All right. All right. Thank you. So this person is saying that he created an app using GitHub and deployed it on Streamlit. However, after about 1 or 2 attempts, it shows something like quota exceeded. Although I use the free version, what do you advise?
Okay, yes, that is normal. So quota exceeded actually means that you have actually like exhausted your API keys. So normally, depending on I don't know, depending on the API service you use, if you either use OpenAI or Gemini, but if you use Gemini, it has rotating windows, so you can try again. With two things, you can try again, or you can change your API key entirely.
Okay, thank you. So another person is saying, I only use
Also,
my, okay.
but actually say I've also sent the GitHub like the prompt templates.
Okay, thank you for that. We'll share with the team. Sarah, can you let me pick that up from the chat, please, and share? Thank you. So this person is saying that he only uses his AI Studio for API key. Is he supposed to also write his app prompts on the AI Studio?
Okay, I was once like that, using only my Google AI Studio to just fetch like API keys. But yeah, you can write your system prompts or AI Studio also. Yes, can also do that. So basically, like I said earlier, the AI Studio is like
Okay. Samuel, I can't hear you anymore. I can't hear Samuel anymore. So
is there, not just API keys. Google AI Studio was just based for API keys, and that's why I use it for limited. Please go ahead.
okay, I think we lost you for a while. Can you repeat your response to that
Yes.
question again?
Okay, yes, I said the Google AI Studio just it goes beyond using it for just API keys alone. It is called an AI playground because you can actually use it to test any kind of AI application you want to build out. So it goes beyond just like API, like just fetching Google API keys.
Okay. Thank you. So two persons are asking the same question. So they want to know how a website created using AI can be secured from hackers.
Okay. That's a very, very, very good question. That happens like at the so there are ways that AI is built, right? Sorry, there are ways websites are built. So the best way to actually do it is that just make sure you keep the the secrets, your secret keys. Just make sure the model does not see them because you know what you say, privacy. So just make sure the model does not see them. That's just it.
Okay,
And
Samuel, please, I'm going to have to ask you to say that again because we didn't quite catch your
okay,
response.
okay. So now the best way to keep your website boot with AI far from hackers is to make sure that the AI that you use to build your website does not see your secrets. Now, what do you mean by secrets? Your API keys, that you only load them when needed. Don't send your API keys to the models. Those should be only secrets for you. For a website, for a website that is going to be for a website that is going to be public, all your secrets should be kept for you. Your card details, your basically anything that is secret for you should be kept secret from the model. That's how to secure your website from hackers.
Okay, thank you. So another question is, how do we separate front-end program codes from back-end program codes when building a dynamic website or an app with AI?
Okay, how do we separate front end from?
Program codes from back-end program codes when building a dynamic website or an app with AI.
Okay, so this is a very important question, but though I am not.
Okay. Samuel, we can't hear
If
you
you are like,
anymore.
okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, so I was trying to say I am not necessarily a web developer, but my recommendation is that you should work with professionals. Also, something that I also do, you can take a screenshot of the codes that are generated. Then you ask the AI, which of these files here is which of these files here is actually for the front end, which of these files here is actually for the back end. Then the AI will start explaining probably index.js backend, this one.5 front end, just basically that. And also having like professionals, asking like one or two questions that get like vast can also help.
Okay, thank you. So there are people requesting access to the prompts that you used, and then they're also asking if anti-graffiti is free to use.
Yes. Anti-gravity is free to use. Just like I said earlier, just all you need to do, just go to google.antigravity.com. You will be met, if you see my screen, you'll be met with we met with the website. This is the website, right? So then select downloads, and also you can download the anti-gravity 2.0 depending on your particular system configuration. Yeah, so it's 100% free.
Okay, thank you. They also want to know if they can have access to the prompts that you used.
Yes. I actually sent you the prompt of it.
Okay, so another question. Why use anti-gravity? Is it the major tool for vibe coding? I didn't hear the part where you talked about it. Kindly help to explain why you are using vibe coding instead of Gemini.
Okay, so number one, what is vibe coding? Vibe coding is actually what is vibe coding? Vibe coding is actually um basically coding with AI. Yes, coding with AI. So yeah, so anti-gravity is not the main tool, like I said before. There are several there are several agentic tools that can actually vibe code. You have Kim, you have Codex, you have Cloud. So it's just basically by preference and use case. So for this particular use case, we preferred using Google Active. That is just using.
Okay, thank you. So somebody is asking if it's the same as Neglify. So I don't know if you need them to explain what they mean by that.
Yes, please.
Okay, so if you ask the question, please kindly expatiate what you are comparing with Neglify. So another question is, how do you deploy AI apps on the server of your choice?
Okay, now you have to just when you buy the you pay for the server, right? When you pay for the server, just follow the instructions and connect from your GitHub to the server you pay for. Your app is live.
Okay, thank you.
But this for this particular class, the server we use what we use was Vessel, and the reason why we use Vessel is because Vessel is completely free. So the same way with this Vessel, the same way you can do with any other server or deployment platform for sure.
Okay, thank you for your response. So one other person is asking if there is a way to also set up monitoring. the deployed code for vulnerabilities with Vibe AI?
Yes, 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 yes. There are ways to do that, but that is not like something like we can discuss like in this section. So I actually take like a lot of stuff, but that can be done on that section or not this section.
All right, thank you very much. So I think I'll just take the last question now. So you developed an app and the person wanted to know, probably missed the part, if it was developed in Google AI Studio or other Windows application.
Okay. So now here is the simple workflow for what happens today. All our demos are ready, right? First, we created a mock-up prototype of our application using Gemini Canvas. Then we saw how it would look like, how they feel. Then we went over to, then I'm showing that. Not just talking. This is Gemini Canvas, right? Then we went over to the prompt repository where we got system prompts. Then we went over to this place, which is our where's my right AI studio, double AI studio, where we generated our PROT. Now we got the PROT and we went straight to our anti-gravity, where we developed the working application. Then from the working application of generated anti-gravity, we went to GitHub, where we pushed the codes to. Then from GitHub, we went to Vessel, where we deployed. Then we now tested the live app. So this app we just built now is actually live. And that so far is the summary of what we did.
All right, thank you very much, Samuel. So that'll be all from the Q&A. Chimauke, over to you, please.
Okay, thank you, Samuel. Thank you, Runke. Thank you, everyone, for staying on this call. Please let's appreciate our tutor, Samuel. Thank you, thank you for this wonderful session. Everyone, we want to apologize for
Okay,
the.
please confirm you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you so much, Samuel. Please, can we appreciate Samuel? Can we appreciate Samuel? Thank you so much. There has been a very wonderful 2 hours class. Can we really appreciate Samuel? I'm looking at our chat. Please, can we appreciate him? Everybody that have joined this class from the beginning to the end of this class will attest that as an AI enthusiast, or somebody who is willing to use AI and improve their work or build solution, this is a class that you need. And that is why that we have brought this class today to everyone, because this is the direction that AI is going. And if we want to preach the knowledge of AI, this is the domain everybody needs to understand. So thank you so much, Samuel, for the wonderful class. It was really a very straightforward learning. We really want to apologize for all the technical issues we had today. We're in raining season, rain is actually falling and is where our tutor is, and it was affecting his network. I understand this made a lot of people, they maybe did not follow the class the way they wanted to. We really apologize. By next week, we'll make sure we put things in place to make sure that the network is very optimal and everybody is able to tap into the class. Samuel, please stop sharing your screen so that everybody is able to tap into the class. Yeah. So as we all said at the beginning, this is a series. It will be happening every Saturday, 4 p.m., the same time. So next week, Saturday by 4 p.m., we're even going to have a beta session. We'll be going into AI agent. So if you think you learned a lot today, just wait for next week and the upper one coming. We have a lot to teach in this series. So make sure you don't miss next week class and the upper one. Invite your friends as well to join. time. If you want to play in AI space, you want to use AI and build solutions, you want to be able to automate workflow, you want to apply AI in any industry that you want to go into, this masterclass series is not what you're going to miss. And that is why we brought it to YouTube. The why we brought it to YouTube is that so that you're able to come back at your own time, relax and go through the video. We understand we had a lot of network issues, right? Please later come back and go through the video. You'll be able to catch up on what has been taught in the class. So at your own time, please come back and uh, go through the video. So it has been a very impactful session. To summarize what we learned today, Samuel started with generative AI, and then he talked about the ICE framework for prompting. You know, if we are going to vibe coding is based on prompting. So if you are going to vibe code anything, you will make sure that you actually know how to prompt. And that is one of the things that was covered in today's class. And from prompting, we went to Google AI Studio, where we saw how to prompt the Google AI Studio. And then we went the full time to vibe code in anti-gravity. After vibe coding and building our solution through prompting in anti-gravity, the entire code was pushed to GitHub, and from there to Vicel, where we now deployed it to have a live document. So if you have followed this class from beginning to understand to the end, you understand that it was a full session that from beginning to the end. So you're able to build a full solution and actually deploy it live. You are seeing everything live. So thank you once again, Samuel, for the class. We are looking forward to next week and the upper one. Remember, as we said, we have certificate of attendance for anybody that attend this series of our classes, but you have to be at least attend 2 sessions before we issue you any certificate of attendance. If you are a Deep Tech Fellow already, who have access to our Learn with DSM platform, we've already created the course and it's already available on Learn with DSM platform, but you'll be able to start accessing it from Monday, right? You'll be able to start accessing it from Monday. So do not sleep on it. Go to Learn with DSM platform and start learning there as well. So next week, we'll move to AI agents. The same time next week Saturday, on the 25th of August, time is 4 p.m. Please, time is 4 p.m. The same time next week, 4 p.m. And then for our attendance, a lot of people have been asking for attendance on the chat, attendance. Please scan the QR code on your screen right now to fill your attendance. I'm going to leave it up so that you're able to scan. If you're able to scan the QR code, actually, we've been trying to drop it on the chat, but for one reason, I don't know, it's not dropping. So, but we have a QR code on your screen right now. If you are able to scan the QR code, please scan the QR code on your screen right now to take your attendance. Next class, next week, Saturday, 25th of July, 4 p.m. Come back and meet another exciting session that is even going to wow you more than what we've done today. So bring in your friends to learn as well. Please scan the QR code and fill your attendance. So we'll try to drop it on the chat. We'll try to drop the attendance on the chat. And please, this attendance will be coming every week. The link you use this week is not what you're going to use next week. So just to put it out there, but we'll try to put this on YouTube chat so that you can access it from there. Okay. Okay, I just dropped the link on the chat. Please look for Chimauge, the username from Chimauge. That is the attendance link. Please copy. I'm going to keep dropping it. I'm currently dropping the attendance on the chat. Please use the link. Okay, on that note, we want to thank everyone for joining us this evening, and we'll meet again next week. Thank you and have a wonderful rest of the evening. Bye.